right, we will start with questions for Coach. Mike first.
I think you've obviously been through something similar last season, but how do you balance your desire to win with a roster that is maybe not geared to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always going to have, I think y'all know me by now, I'm a very competitive person. I'm always going to have a strong desire to win, no matter if our roster is good enough or not. That's just who I am as a person, you know. And that's also who I try to teach our guys to be, you know. So I'm never going to compromise that. I'm always going to be fighting and scrapping, you know, for the win. I think the one thing that I have learned is even when our roster isn't good enough to win, you got to find what a win is, you know. Sometimes that's just the development or finally getting a guy to see, you know, the game or see this play or see this action or just get better at it. And seeing our guys connect and seeing our guys guard and seeing our guys talk, like those become wins, you know, in these situations. So, yeah, I'm always going to be the same. I think we all know that. But I'm no different than anybody, you know. Jody, Joe, everybody wants to win, and everybody has a burning desire to win, you know. So I'm no different than any of us.
Coach, do you feel like you've been placed in a pretty difficult position with one guaranteed year left on your deal and not much hope to really win this season?
Well, I mean, I just think in our game, regardless, when I say our game, I'm saying the NBA. I don't think it matters what year you're in anymore. You know, you can be in the first year of your deal, you can be in the last year of your deal. It's all the same. You know, you got to go do a good job, and if not, you know, we see it all the time. You know, coaches get fired, don't even get to finish their first year. You know, so I don't think about that. I don't worry about that. What I'm really most proud of is I just feel I'm light years ahead of where I was when I took this microphone 3 years ago. You know, just in my development, it's been a lot. You know, it's been a lot that I've dealt with since I've been here, and every single one of those things just makes me better. You know, so I just feel so much different and so much more prepared. You know, as a head coach now, having gone through so much, so I'm really not. I'm not concerned with me being in the last year of my deal or what could happen or this. I don't concern myself with those things at all. I just want to go do a good job, and I know that I'm going to do a good job. I'm really happy with where I'm at. I'm happy where my staff is at. I'm happy that our team is healthy, you know, and I know what we're up against, you know, being so young and so inexperienced. The hardest schedule in the league. I mean, I know what we're up against, you know, so I'm not unrealistic. Joe's not unrealistic. Jody's not unrealistic. They're not asking me to go out here and find lightning in the bottle, you know, in the position that we're in. I just got to keep getting better.
Last year, one of the primary goals, and the same thing this year, is to develop that backcourt, but the big three missed 100 games combined. What do you hope to see from that trio, Anthony, Scoot, and Shaden this year?
Yeah, I'm just consistency, really. You know, I want all three guys to just be consistent in terms of just playing. You know, you got to have them on the court. I thought we missed a lot of opportunity last year for Shaden, obviously being hurt. I wanted to see if he was going to emerge and take that jump. Obviously, he wasn't able to be on the floor, so I'm hoping to get that. I'm hoping to see Ant out there more. I'm hoping for Scoot to be out there more, you know, because let's be honest, those guys are a big, huge part, maybe the biggest part of our future here with the organization. So we're going to need those guys to be out there on the floor to continue to take some steps to get better. So that we can't emphasize that enough. You know, it's just kind of getting them guys out there and making them understand, you know, our game.
Chauncey, what went into some of the staffing changes that took place on your staff this summer, and kind of where do you think the staff is at now in terms of what some of their strengths are?
Yeah, I'm really excited about the staff. I really am. First you start with Nate Bjorgren, who was obviously a longtime guy in Toronto under Nick Nurse, and I hired him last year as a consultant, just because he's just so dang good, man. Just to be able to pick his brain, he come in and out of town and just help me with things. I can call him at 3 a.m, asking him questions, and then fortunately I was able to hire him this year. So I'm really looking forward to having him on the staff. He pretty much can do everything. He's a wizard in my eyes. And then I hired Chris Fleming, who was basically the #1 assistant in Chicago, in charge of their offense, but more importantly, he's in charge of the development of Kobe White. And we see these young guards that we keep talking about that we have in Scoot and Shaden and Anthony. To me, is still a young guard in the league, and to have a guy like Chris to kind of see some of those guys through in their development is going to be important for us. And not only that, I mean, there were a lot of things that we were pretty bad at last year, honestly, and offense was one of them. So to have his mind offensively, to be able to help me, help our team, is going to be a big deal. And then another addition that we made is Ronnie Burrell, who was behind the bench, but another really good young coach in the league. He was Coach of the Year in the G League a couple years ago with the Brooklyn Nets. So we're just really excited, about my staff. I feel really happy about the changes that we made and the people that we brought in. I feel very confident in our staff.
You mentioned those 3 guards. It's going to be difficult to have all 3 stay around long term. Just what is it going to take for a duo to rise out of those 3? And how do you manage that when knowing that it's going to be difficult for those 3 to stick around and somebody's probably going to have to go?
I don't think about that difficulty. I really don't. What I think about is just trying to make them all reach their potential. They're all so different, and they all can be all-stars. They all got all-star potential. So I don't think about 2-3 years from now. I don't think about any of those things. I think about how can I make them all better. I think about how can I, help Scoot from having a tough year, last year. How can I help him? Ant, he's older than those guys, but still, to me, in my eyes, Ant, there's still so many levels that he can get to. He's still young, and Shaden as well. How can I help these guys? So I just want to coach them. I want to coach them hard. I want to challenge them, and I will. And I think they know that. We all know that. I'm always going to challenge our guys. And then, like you said, just see who emerges, Just see who emerges. They all going to have the opportunity. They're all going to have the same opportunity. And then you just see what happens. And those are not things that I can control. So whoever's over there screaming, I hope they're ready to go tomorrow.
I don't know how much you've seen him like in workouts or whatever over the last month, but how do you see Denny fitting in?
Obviously we only played against Denny twice a year because Eastern Conference, but he's been here, all month, and I've been so impressed with him. He's easy to fit in anywhere. He can fit in anywhere. He's a basketball player. Our fans are gonna love him. I mean, he plays with so much fire and desire. But just skill-wise, he can really pass the ball. High IQ. He can guard multiple positions. Really good rebounder. Another thing that we've been needing, since Josh Hart left, we've been needing a guy that can go get you 8, 9, 10, 12 rebounds in a game from that position. So he's going to fit in perfect. He's still young, still a young player. Really cares about playing the game the right way. If a guy's open, pass it. If you can get on the floor for a loose ball, get there. And if you don't, he'll say something about it. I love it. So I'm really excited to coach Denny.
Chauncey, this team isn't really all that different from last year, with the exception of the additions of Donovan and Denny. What do you look at this team and look for as far as identity?
You know, I think just having some consistency with people being on the floor is the obvious thing. I just said in the press conference with you guys too many times before games saying, I don't know. I don't know who's playing. I don't know what's going So I'm really looking forward to not having to do that as much with you guys. But in terms of just identity and things, nothing really changes with me and what I believe in. I've been saying it for years. And I just want our guys to be connected. I want our guys to know each other. I want them to play for each other. We don't have that go get a bucket ISO guy every single time. So we can't afford to play that way. We got to play fast. We got to move the basketball. We got to help each other on defense. We got to do all the small things to even be competitive. And by the way, I love that. Even if we did have those type of guys, I want us to play that way. So nothing changes in terms of that. The one thing that I would say that I'm really, really excited about is that we just got so much competition throughout our roster in terms of competing for minutes and starting spots and rotation. Like we finally have that. So I'm really, really excited to start that process up tomorrow.
Hi, Chauncey. You talk about competition, so I want to ask about the big men in the group. So you got DeAndre, and then you guys pick Donovan this year, and you get Robert Williams back from the bench. So you got 3 big men in the group. Will you ever consider put Donovan in a power forward position? Because he's talking about he can shoot threes and stuff in the training clip.
Well, you missed a guy too, in the Wap Reith, who obviously had a really good year for us last year. Had a great summer. He's been having a great spring. But, we do have the luxury of having some really good big men. And with DA and obviously Donovan and Rob and Wap, and there's going to be some times where I'll be trying things, and playing 2 bigs out there at times. I'm not sure if Donovan is the one that's going to play the 4. Probably not. But having 2 guys out there, there's some teams in the league that play 2 bigs. That's the beautiful thing about where we're at. We can try some things and see if it works and see if we can try to grow that way as we're trying to figure out what we're doing. So we have some guys that, they're going to deserve to be out there. They're going to deserve to play. So we'll that's why I get paid what I get paid. I got to figure that out.
You tried last year to increase the pace, and it didn't always work. Is that a goal again this season to really ramp things up, become at least entertaining, even if you're not winning a lot of games?
Yeah, that is the goal, Aaron. It is the goal to try to increase our pace. I thought we were in a pretty good pace to try to do it last year, and then Ant gets hurt in the first game. He missed for a while. I mean, we make the trade for Malcolm and DA 2 days before training camp, but we had been working the time before that on that pace, and then obviously, we got to just pick it up quick. And Malcolm's not going to play with a lot of pace. That's just not who he is. He's going to be very efficient, but he's not fast. So it was a little difficult to kind of keep it going in terms of that, and then just being hurt. You're playing with so many guys that just don't even know what we're trying to do. So we've been focusing on that this year. Already just with our pick up games and let them just hoop. The biggest thing I've just been telling them, just play fast, have fun, man. So I think you guys will see a little different, offensive. See us different a little offensively, and then defensively too. We're gonna pick up and pressure and kind of do what we've been doing.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank y'all.